Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, if you've never seen a Q&A before, the idea is simple. I don't really do any research into these questions. I don't even look at them before I put the camera on because I think that spontaneity is probably the best way when it comes to answering these questions. So the answers that you're getting are completely and totally off the cuff. Now, no stone is left unturned. There are no questions off the table. Whatever you want to ask me is fine. If you haven't asked a question yet and you want to ask a question, ask them down below in the comments of this video. Now, get the questions on there by sort of Tuesday or Wednesday, because I film these generally on a Tuesday. Like, it's a Tuesday morning today and I'm filming the Q&A. I've got a very busy week this week. Sometimes it's a little bit later. To be guaranteed that you're definitely going to get your question answered, please make sure that you ask it. You ask it down below by Tuesday. Now, if I miss a question, I'm really sorry. I don't do it on purpose. Occasionally, I do miss a question. If I do miss a question, then ask it again, and I'll get back to it next week. And I apologize ahead of time. I'm just scrolling through now. There are a lot of questions here, so we're going to get straight into it. Thank you, by the way, for everybody that asks questions. This whole thing would die if it wasn't for you guys asking questions. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Let's get on with this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from the Fess, and the Fess says, what are the most important qualities every magician should have? What are the most important qualities every magician should have? That's a really great question. And I think it very much depends on whether the magician in question is a working professional or a hobbyist. Because, the thing is, it's that old expression, isn't it? There's two, in the wonderful world of show business, there's two words, show and business. And most magicians, they focus on the show. And they think about the show and they think about making the show the best it can be. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then they ignore the business side of things. And they wonder why they've not got enough gigs, or why they haven't got people ringing up the phone wanting to book them. Why is it that everybody else is getting all the work and I haven't? It's that old expression, isn't it? What's the difference between a magician and a savings bond? Well, eventually a savings bond will mature and make money. And although it's a joke, it's absolutely true, right? So if you are a professional magician, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you should be thinking about. You should be thinking about the marketing of your business. You should be thinking about how your business runs. You should be thinking about exit strategies. And what I mean by exit strategies is you don't want to be that sad guy that's going out at the age of 80, still performing on stage because that's literally all you know and you've got no other option. You want to have an exit strategy away from this business because you can't do it forever. There's a bunch of different stuff that you need to understand, but having an understanding of marketing, having an understanding of how to actually run a business is vitally important if you are a professional magician, because if you're a professional magician, you're running your own business. And so you have to understand about how to run a business successfully. If you're not talking about a professional magician and you're talking about somebody who performs but doesn't do it professionally, and in all honesty, professional magicians need to think about this as well, but there's other stuff they need to think about. I would say that an important quality isn't how good your double lift is. It's not how good your palm is. It's not how good any of that stuff is. Yeah, technique is important, but it's something that we're going to practice regardless. One of the things that's most important is how to actually be a nice person, how to be a likable person, because that's the hardest part when it comes to magic. The hardest part when it comes to magic, especially when you're in a gigging situation, is walking up to a group of people in a really crowded room. They don't know you. They've never met you. They're having their own private conversation with people they've probably not seen for a while and they're catching up with them. And your job, to be clear, is to go over, interrupt them, stop them having this conversation, and within a couple of seconds, win them over and get them to like you to a point that they actually agree to let you stay and show them some magic. And a lot of magicians moan about people that go, oh no, I'm not interested, thanks. that's kind of the reaction that most normal people would have if there were an event and they were interrupted. So you have to be the life and soul of the party. You have to be larger than life. You have to be a performer, and you have to understand how to get people on your side. So within 5 seconds of walking into a group, you can literally have people on side and want to actually listen to what you say. And it's all about reading books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's about understanding the importance of banter. I've talked about this on the channel before. Understanding the importance of just being a nice person and getting the people that you're performing for to like you and want to listen to what you've got to say. I would say that's one of the most important qualities that you can have as a magician. And also, I think another important quality, while we're on the subject, is the ability to ad-lib and go off the cuff. I think one of the things that I'm good at is the ability to ad-lib, so that, there's nothing wrong with scripted magic, and there's nothing wrong with scripting your magic, especially when you're performing on stage. But you also have to have the ability to not script your magic, or you have to have the ability to fly off in a different direction. So when I'm performing a routine, if somebody says something or something happens, I'm going to deviate and go in a completely different direction. And that's one of the things that I love about magic. The audience don't really know what the end game is. And because they don't know what the end game is, it allows me to kind of go back and forward depending on what's happening during the course of the performance. And if I'm doing 2 performances and I start doing the same trick, a lot of the time I'll end in a completely different place because of what's happened with the people that I'm performing for. So I think that's a very important skill as well. Having said that, I think it's really important having the ability to script something and having the ability to, especially if you're performing on stage. So I've been putting Ryland's new show together recently, and everything is scripted to the nth degree. Now, and he rehearses it ad infinitum as per the script. But over time, he's going to hopefully be able to deviate off that script if something happens during the course of the performance. But knowing how to create a script and knowing how to actually put something like that together for a performance is also very important. So there's a lot of stuff going on, being likable, being nice, having the ability to ad-lib, having the ability to script, all of this stuff is very, very important. But again, going back to my initial point, as a professional magician, I think one of the most important qualities that every magician should have that's a professional is the knowledge of how to run a successful business. Okay, so we've got another question from the Fez, and the Fez says, what are your plans for Really Flipping Fly? Are you planning on uploading it to the Netrix? Yes, my friend. We've got an upload day tomorrow. It's not on that upload day. However, the following upload, which is in 2 weeks' time, I got some really cool stuff going up there. And I've got a big teaching on the chop cup, which I've spent ages putting together. I've got... and so Really Flipping Fly. I've had so many people want to learn that routine, so I'll be teaching it on the Netrix, probably on that upload. But yeah, if you like it and you want to learn it, it is coming soon to the Netrix, so just keep an eye out for it. Okay, so the next question is from Justin Hutchins, and Justin says, "Hi Craig, I love all your videos. They really get me through the week. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. Question: have you tried the Twilight floating light bulb by Chris Smith, as it looks good? It looks amazing, but I've had no experience with invisible threads. Not sure I'd get on with them, probably break every time in my hands, lol. Also, if you haven't already, I'd like to see a video on invisible threads, elastic loops, and all those kind of things. Thanks." Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll put a video on thread together. For any long-term listeners of this channel, you'll know from the Gravity review that I've never really done much with thread. It's something that I've not ever been a big fan of, for a few, especially close-up. And there's a few different reasons for that, and one of the main reasons was I always thought that when you're making something float and you're making something levitate, it's kind of the only solution that a layman can come up with is the solution, right? And I couldn't get my head around that. Well, since getting Gravity by Joel Miranda, that's kind of changed my mind quite considerably, because I've been using Gravity in a close-up situation in a few different ways, and it's really great product. It's a really great piece of kit that really does kind of allow you to do so many different routines with thread. And since then, I've actually been using loops. I'm just playing around with the ties that Penguin have just brought out. One of the things I've been working on with Ryland for the last few weeks is Extreme Hanky by Sean Begonia, which he's doing in his act. So it's the thing where the handkerchief goes in the bottle, and he holds the bottle and it starts jumping around in the bottle, and then it flies out of there. We're putting this whole stage piece together for Ryland, which is about 7 or 8 minutes long, all using this handkerchief in this bottle. And with all of the rehearsals I've done with Ryland, plus all the rehearsals I've done with Gravity, the one big piece of advice I'll give you is expect this stuff to break when you're rehearsing. You know, expect it to break, because there is a chance it will. The amount of broken threads I've had rehearsing Gravity, less so with the Extreme Hanky, but that's because of how the method works, because it's self-contained inside the bottle. It's all very unlikely to break unless you're going in one different direction, which we're not getting to get into. But the point I'm trying to make is you got to rehearse an awful lot with thread. You really do. And you also need a contingency plan. So if you're doing a thread routine and it just doesn't work because maybe the thread breaks in the middle of the performance, how are you going to get yourself out of there? So for example, one thing that I've been playing around with in a close-up situation is a floating bill. And I'm very glad that when I was putting this floating bill routine together, I thought about what I would do if the thread broke, because the second time I actually did it in a live performance, the thread just broke and the ball just dropped to the floor, and it was like, oh my gosh, no. Now, if I hadn't thought through what I was going to do, I probably would have ended up with egg on my face. As it is, I'd already thought this through and I'd gone into a different routine and nobody was any the wiser. But it's very important to, I think, do that with any routine, but especially with thread. I think that the best trick with loops that I've ever seen is the Justin Miller ring slide effect. If you've not seen Ring Slide by Justin Miller, it's brilliant, like truly brilliant. Go check that out. That's really good. But there's some really great stuff. There's some really great stuff that you can do with thread. It just requires a lot of practice. That's I suppose the most important thing. It requires a lot of practice. So over the last sort of 6 months, my love of thread has been renewed and reinvigorated, and it's one of the reasons that when I was putting Ryland's new show together, I said to him, hey, let's put this routine in here. Let's put Extreme Hanky in there. I never would have made that decision a year ago. I never would have gone in that direction, because I wouldn't want to put something in where I'm having to rely on thread on stage. But a combination of the fact that it's not me that's having to worry about it, it's him, because it's his show, and also a combination that I'm becoming more comfortable with thread, means that was a possibility for me. So yeah, Justin, in terms of the floating light bulb, Twilight floating light bulb, I haven't seen it. I do love Chris Smith's stuff. I imagine it's great because most of Chris Smith's stuff is. I will happily get it and have a look at it for you and give it a review, 100%, no problem. But in terms of videos on loops and invisible thread and so on and so forth, that will come at some point down the line. But while you're waiting, just experiment. The ties by Penguin are really cheap, like really cheap. You can get like 32 of them for a very small amount of money. So just get yourself some ties and just play around with them, and just, the amount of stuff that you can do is crazy once you actually start messing with this. But be prepared for it to break, because when you first start using it, until you realize how to use it properly, it will break. Okay, so the next trick is by Magic Moronja. I think that's it. Magic Moronja. How you doing, Magic? What are the 3 best tricks from Peter Eggink? Well, let's go on Penguin Magic, shall we? Penguin Magic. There we go. I haven't... not his new stuff. I'll tell you that much. Not his new stuff. But I have said on this channel before, the old Peter Eggink that used to release stuff like years and years and years ago, a lot of his stuff was exceptional. Truly, truly exceptional. And he's gone downhill a little bit recently, although Ring Hole wasn't too bad. There were aspects of it I really didn't like, but there are aspects of it that were actually really good as well. But let's have a look. I'm going to Oh, I'm going to Penguin just because it's got a list of all of his stuff, whether it's in stock or not. The first one that comes up that I can see, I'm scrolling down, is Transferred by Peter Eggink. I used to do that all the time. A breathtaking transposition of a signed card and a bill. You display a deck of cards and you allow the spectator a choice of any card they like. The spectator then signs the card and it's returned to the back and lost. A bill is then borrowed, and I remember the routine. You take the bill and you just shake it and it turns into a folded up card, and you open it and it's their card. And then when you cut the deck, where the card was, there's a bill, and you unfold it and it's their bill. I remember learning that. I did that for ages in restaurants. I've forgotten about that. I need to find that out. But yeah, that was really good. Transferred by Peter Eggink. That's going to be the first one. Going down. Let's have a look. There's quite a few really good things, actually. Just trying to find... Oh, what was that one? No, I didn't like that one. No, I didn't like that one. That one was okay. The Haunted deck, Haunted by Peter Eggink. I know that then Mark Traversoni improved it, which he did, but the original Haunted deck by Peter Eggink was great. As it says here, hands off, no touching, no thread work, fully examinable. If you like haunted deck tricks, which is where somebody picks a card and it's lost in the deck, and then you put the deck down and it cuts itself and finds their card, Haunted was one of the best that came out at the time. Everybody was doing Haunted. Like, for anybody that's new in Magic that don't remember when Haunted came out, it was one of the first Paul Harris Presents tricks, and like everybody was doing it. It was the trick of the year, without a shadow of a doubt. Really, really good. And then, what else have we got? Not that. Definitely not that. Oh, that was really good. That was really good. I remember liking this. Mist by Peter Eggink. Vanish the angel in slow motion magically, and slowly the little angel on the back of the freely chosen card visibly fades away, only to completely disappear, leaving an empty space. But once the mist is cleared, the little angel has made his reappearance on the selected card. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, Mist was really good. And that's in stock on Penguin. There you go. It's an old trick, but it's in stock. Oh, I used to love that one as well. Oh, I'm going to give you 4. Sharpie. Sharp, Sharpee by Peter Eggink. He had a specially made Sharpie made, a big one. Whenever you need a marker at any moment in your act, you reach into your pocket and offer the spectator a mini Sharpie. As you uncop it, it turns into a jumbo Sharpie, and it really does. But there's more that you can do with Sharpie. Visually morph the printing on the pen into look inside, and then you reveal the signed bill, card, blah, inside the cap. There was so much you could do with this. It was really good. And I believe you used a regular Sharpie inside this giant Sharpie as the actual writing implement, which was really clever. But it was I love this giant Sharpie gimmick because it allowed you to have so many size changes. Yeah, Sharpie was really good as well. So there you go. There's 4 Peter Eggink tricks that are really good. There's more. There's tons. Peter's brought out so many different routines over the years that, you know, there's so many really good tricks, and a lot of the stuff that he's brought out the last couple of years isn't so good. But he's got 2 new routines out, hasn't he? Now he's got the Changeling and something else that looks like Acme Portable Hole by Lloyd Barnes. So I'm going to have a look at those soon. Portal, that's it. I'm going to look at those soon, and hopefully he's back up to form now after Ring Hole. But we will see. Okay, so the next question is from Steam Loco Scrapper, and Steam Loco Scrapper says, one of the things that amazes me is the amount of work you put into your channel compared to the number of views and subs you get. I don't think anyone on YouTube puts out more content and more work. Sadly, some 16-year-old vaguely attractive teenager who says like every other word and can barely string a sentence together just needs to sit there pouting, burping and slapping on tacky to get millions of views and hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah, you're right, man. But I don't do this for, despite what other Magic reviewers will tell you, I don't do this for likes or subs. Yeah, it's nice. It gives me warm and fuzzies when I get new subscribers, and I wake up in the morning and I go, oh look, I've had 5 new subscribers or whatever it is. That's great. But I do it because I believe that this is the channel, and I've talked about this before. When I first got into Magic, the channel that you are on right now, Magic TV. This is the channel that I wished I had when I first got into Magic, because it would have made things a lot easier for me. I would have bought massively less rubbish. I would have had a deeper understanding of tricks that had come out beforehand, and I would have understood more about the theory side of Magic and performing and actually approaching tables and so on and so forth. And I think that it would have given me the confidence to go out and perform a lot more, a lot quicker. Because when I first got into Magic, I was morbidly afraid of going out and performing. The thought of me walking out on stage or even walking up to a group of people scared the living hell out of me. And I would get literal palpitations just even thinking about it. And I think something like Magic TV would have helped me. So this channel is just the channel that I wished I had when I was new into Magic. And it's not about getting loads of subscribers. It's not about getting loads of views, although that's always nice. It's about putting content out there that actually serves a purpose, if that makes sense. And I think that, you know, the reviews are great. That's absolutely fine. The reviews are great. But the reviews aren't the be-all and end-all. The be-all and end-all, in my opinion, are the interviews that I'm doing and the theory that I'm putting out there, and the Q&As and answering people's questions. That's what gets me most excited about Magic TV, not the reviews. Although I enjoy doing the reviews, don't get me wrong. I know there's reviewers on YouTube that think they're absolutely amazing because they tell the truth, and that's fine. And reviews are important, but I think there's a lot more that you can actually put out to the Magic community that will make a difference, and that's what I'm trying to do on this channel. So thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support, and I'll carry on carrying on. Okay, so the next question is from Bahavia Kushel. I hope I've got your name right. And he says, great video. Recently found your channel. Thank you very much. Your videos have been very helpful. Thank you. Can you suggest some good tricks with loops? Oh, we're back onto thread again. I recently bought loops and they keep breaking. How do I stop them from breaking? Dude, you just have to accept that when you first start using them, they're going to break. Using thread is a lot different to anything else that you might have done in Magic. And if you've got no experience of thread work, those loops are just gonna break. It's just gonna happen. You just have to accept that those loops are just gonna break. And that's why when you first get into loops or ties or whatever system that you're doing, you want to get a load of them because it's going to break when you do a routine. I remember when I first started learning how to do the haunted deck with a loop, I just snapped it. I only bought one pack and the first three just snapped immediately. And it's because I'm not getting the right handling down. I'm not getting it in the right place. I'm not doing it properly compared to how the instructions are telling me to do it. And it's breaking. So I got a ton of loops, and that's when I got a lot better with them. But they are going to break. It's like I said before, have a contingency plan because they will break over time, and you need to know what to do if that does happen. But especially when you're practicing, and especially when you're practicing a new routine, things will break over time. In terms of, but as you, I don't want to scare you, as you spend more time working with loops, there's less likely that they are going to break. Now, in terms of routines with loops, I've always been a big fan of the sunglasses plot. I think it's a Yigal Masika thing where you borrow a pair of sunglasses and you put them open onto the table like this, and then what happens is you do this and they close, and then you can even have them spin round. I think that looks great. Nice, seemingly impromptu trick with borrowed sunglasses. I also mentioned it before, but I love ring slide. If you don't know what ring slide is, it's by Justin Miller. The idea is that you borrow a ring, you borrow a Sharpie if you want to, or you can use your own pen or pencil or Sharpie. You put the ring onto the Sharpie, and then the ring starts traveling up the Sharpie. And then you get them to cup their hands together, and the ring just drops into their hand, and you give them the Sharpie and everything's examinable. A simple floating ring is really good as well, where you take the ring and you float it here in between your hands. That's good. I think that less is more when it's come to floating, unless it's a stage piece. I don't want things floating all around the place. I'd much rather have a less is more type thing. And a lot of the time, what I tend to use loops for is animations as opposed to things floating. So if you think about ring slide, it's not actually floating. It's just moving. If you look at the sunglasses, they're not floating, they're moving. I think that becomes more baffling. I think that when you're making things float, a certain percentage of lay people will think, okay, well, that's got to be thread. And you can't disprove that. Even if they can't see the thread and they don't know and they're guessing, their first guess is going to be the method in many cases, right? The only other one that I'd suggest, well, there's lots I'd suggest. There's a really nice Yiga Masika handling of the Haunted Deck. But Box Monster by Nate Kranzo uses loops, and that was put out by Illusionist years ago. So you might be able to still get it on Illusionist, I don't know. But Box Monster by Kranzo was really good. So there you go. There's a few really good ones to start you off with. But enough people are asking me. I think I need to do some sort of video breaking down various different routines with loops. So maybe I'll look into that. Oh, it's not a loop, but do me a favor. Go check out Chill by Tom Wright. Just thank me later. Go check out Chill by Tom Wright. It's the best Haunted deck on the market. It really is, and everything's examinable, and it doesn't use loops, but it does use a very clever way of using thread. I'll say no more. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Murdoch, and Stephen says, "Hi, Craig. Help." Okay. "I'm looking for good beginner effects to get my 7-year-old nephew. I got him hooked on magic during a family visit a few months ago. I performed a few tricks for him, including the magic colouring book that I bought for him. He loved it and practiced his heart out." That's great. I love hearing this. "He's actually performing his first talent show at school with it next week. That is awesome. I don't want to overwhelm him with the magic kit. Plus, I would rather get him one good quality effect that he can focus on. I was thinking 4K color vision or mental block, but his hands are still probably a bit small for either. It would also have to be good video instruction, as I can only help him via video chat." Okay, so first of all, don't worry about hand size. Ryland was doing sponge ball manipulation and billiard ball manipulation at the age of 4. So hand size and his hands, remember Ryland's only 9. When he went on BGT and auditioned, he literally just turned 9. So his hands were very, very small. And his hands still are small. So for example, he can't do a shapeshifter change. He can't do a shapeshifter change or a twirl change because the card it's too big for him. It can't rotate round, right? His hands are very tiny. And yet he can do like pretty much most stuff. So don't worry about hand size, especially with stuff like 4K color vision and mental block. What I would suggest is one of two sources. So I always think that when you're trying to get kids into magic, the key thing is giving them instant gratification whilst something that they can practice and get better at. What I mean by that is if you buy them a trick that's really complicated and they can't do it, they get frustrated with it, they put it down and they end up giving up, right? But if you give them a trick that they can get into, that they can do relatively easily, they've got that instant gratification, right? So the perfect example is dynamic coins, because dynamic coins is very easy to do. You just literally show a cap, you put it around a ring, bang it down, and you've got a stack of coins, quarters or 10 pences or whatever they are in your country. You bang it down and you've got a stack of coins. You then bang another one down over there, you cover them over, and the coins have jumped from one place to another. Amazing. You can do that straight away. The instant gratification. You can now do a coin production and a coin vanish. But the nice thing about the dynamic coins, which is why I'm using it as an example, is there's so much more you can do with it. You can literally go in a million different directions with this routine. So you can do transpositions, you can do vanishes, you can do coins through table, you can do coins through hand. There's a bunch of different stuff that you can do with this one gimmick. So it opens up a world of possibilities. It's almost like having 20 or 30 tricks in one. And because it's really well made, it's something that will take a kick in and keep on licking, which is important because when you're a kid, you have a habit of breaking stuff relatively easily and being a bit ham-handed with it, right? So for me, one of the best tricks of all time is dynamic coins for kids. It's got that factor of instant gratification where they get to be able to do it straight away, but it's something that they can practice and they can learn more with every single time. So you can teach them more routines with it and so on and so forth. Now, you say that you don't want a magic set, and I do agree in many ways, because the problem with the magic set is it's got like 30 or 40 tricks, and you end up just like going, what's that? Oh, that's cool. What's that? Oh, that's cool. What's that? Oh, that's cool. What's that? It's kind of like, it stretches their attention all over the place, right? You are right in that it's best to give them one trick, but I'd look at two different places. Marvin's Magic is a great place to look. You know, I know Marvin Burglass. He's an incredibly nice guy. Ryland is actually a junior ambassador for the Magic, for Marvin's Magic. So, you know, he's doing lots with them all the time. And their sets are amazing. And you can get them worldwide, and they're very well made. But you can buy just one trick. So you don't have to buy, yes, they do big, massive boxes full of tricks, but you can, for example, get dynamic coins on their own. I remember getting Ryland an executive magic set, which had a set of cups and balls in it. It had a magic wand. It had some dynamic coins. It had a coin penetration thing. It had a whole bunch of different stuff in it. So Marvin's Magic is really good. The other one that I would suggest, which is really good, is Alakazam. Alakazam have this beginner magic range that they've specially sourced, and from a video instruction point of view, they've got Wayne Goodman doing the instructional videos. Now, if you don't know Wayne Goodman very well, he's just a really nice guy, and he's also very, very good. He's really good. Like, he's a great performer. He's a great creator. You know, for me, Look Sharp is one of the greatest tricks ever created, and that was him. But on top of all of that stuff as well, he's very good at explaining stuff. I remember at Blackpool last year, he taught Thea how to do a couple of tricks, which she absolutely loved, you know, and he just spent time to take it to one side to teach her a couple of different routines. Just a really nice guy. And he does all the video instruction for all of the Alakazam range. And and because he's a kid's entertainer as well as being a magician, he knows how to actually explain something and also make it easy for kids to understand. And there's a massive range that you can get through Alakazam. There's some really good stuff. And what I would suggest is, you've mentioned Mental Block and you've mentioned 4K color vision, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with those. But what I would suggest is going more for the more visual type of magic. Like, there's a lot of visual type of magic tricks that you can get. Dynamic coins is a great example. Coin squeeze is another example. If you remember coin squeeze, you take 4 10-pences, you drop them, you've got like a solid plug of metal that you screw in between two sort of round cylinders, and the coins drop through one at a time. Very easy to do, but you use regular coins, right? You want to get something that's, you know, that's really quality, I think, and something that's really visual, because kids really buy into something when it's a lot more visual. I'm not saying they don't buy into stuff when it's mentalism, but I think initially when you're first getting them into magic, I think the reason he resonated with the coloring routine so much, the coloring book, is because kids love coloring, right? It's really visual. It does everything that I'm talking to you about here. It's really visual. Oh my gosh, it's colored in. It's something that kids really enjoy doing anyway, coloring. But also, it's instant gratification. Look, if I flick it up here, it's black and white, and I flick it down here, it's coloured in. And now if I flick it down here, it's blank. It's very easy for them to do, and it's something that they really enjoy practicing. So that's what I'd suggest. I would suggest looking at the Alakazam range, looking at the Marvin's Magic range, buying them one really good quality prop, and then after that one, another one, and another one, and ideally getting them something where they can go in different ways, and there's multiple routines that they can do with it. So hopefully that answers your question and helps. Okay, so the next question is Jerome van der Schler, and Jerome says, excuse me, hey Craig, is it possible to see some coin routines from Justin Miller on the Netrix? I really love your coin work, but from Justin as well, I like the idea to see other coin men on the Netrix. Absolutely. We've got a bunch of Justin Miller coin stuff that we can put up. In fact, I'm going to tell Jack to put a couple up this week. Okay, so it's upload day tomorrow. I'm currently filming this on the Tuesday. We had some stuff scheduled, but you know, just for you, I'm going to tell Jack and my marketing team to put together a couple of Justin Miller coin routines. So yes, look out for it on Monday. We'll put a bunch of Justin Miller coin stuff up. You're right, by the way. Justin is just sick. There is, in my opinion, right, I'm just going to throw this out there, and I don't care if people agree with me or disagree with me. I think that Justin is one of the, if not the greatest sleight of hand artist in the world today. Like, every time I watch him, I am blown away. And there is nothing that this man can't manipulate. Coins, cards, anything. Just when I think there's something that Justin Miller can't do, he proves me wrong, and he does it better than anyone else out there. You know, I had this video go up on Tuesday about Vanish, which is an incredible gimmick. But at the beginning of the interview, he did a whole bunch of stuff with shadow lapping. And he was just fooling me. Even though I knew he was lapping, he was fooling me over and over and over again. There's stuff that will come out that he will do that will be anybody else's legacy item. Let's take the tumble switch, for example, which is Justin's thing where he drops a coin and it changes as it drops into the hand. Like, it looks beautiful, right? If anybody else came up with that move, that would be their legacy item. That would be the thing that they talk about. People would talk about that with that person forever. But with Justin, it's just one more thing that is done. He's like, oh yeah, I've got this really cool switch. And then he moves on to something else, and then he moves on to something else, and then he moves on to something else. I literally have no idea how that man's brain works. He's incredible. I'm so happy that he's on the Netrix because his material is just ridiculously good. If you haven't already done so, please go check out the interview with Justin and go and pick up a Vanish because honestly, it's amazing. But I'm not turning this into a Justin Miller appreciation video. The point is, yes, we'll get some Justin Miller coin material up for next Monday. And this is going up on Sunday. So tomorrow, you're going to see some JM coin material tomorrow on the Netrix. Okay, so the next question is from Aaron Ducker. Hey, Aaron. Aaron said, I just wanted to comment that you were an absolute gent. As you say, you had no reason to invite us on, and yet you did, and it would have been easy not to. The fact that you did speaks volumes to your moral character. As for us, we're honoured for you to invite us on the platform, and going forward, we're excited to see what you come up with for the Better Half project. We've had to deal with a few dicks during the aftermath of this whole debacle, but you are not one of them. Hey, Aaron, it was great having a chat with you. Like I say, you know, you and I are never going to see eye to eye on the issues. However, having said that, that doesn't mean that we can't move past this 100%. And yeah, I'm really, I'm really super excited to be a part of that as well. And there's some really cool stuff that's that I'm coming up with that I think you're going to like. So yeah, thanks very much for posting. Really appreciate it, and keep up the good work. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, and Adrian says, I watched your performance of Shuffleboard some time ago, as well as your Hidden Gems video. I learnt the trick and it kills, doesn't it? I think that it's one of the best confidence builders for hobbyists who want to gain flight time. I agree. Could you do a 3 great tricks by Simon Aronson special? His ideas are incredible. You know what? That's a really good idea. I will do a 3 tricks by Simon Aronson that's incredible, because there are so many tricks by Simon Aronson that are incredible. I do a lot of them. So I think that's a really good idea. I will put that video together. Adrian, thank you very much. Okay, so the next question is from Mike Tyson by TKO, and he says, hey Craig, thanks for all your do. It's very much appreciated. No problem, you're welcome. Okay, so I've got a tough one for you. In your opinion, that's why I'm asking you, what are the top 3 best of all time commercial tricks that have been released? Maybe we can break them into top 3 available and top 3 that have been discontinued. You the man. Bloody hell. This is not something that I'm going to be able to do off the cuff, I don't think. Top 3 that are discontinued. In first place, I would go for Houdini coin, or Houdini's Escape from El Duco, which I did as a Hidden Gems a while ago. You can't get it anymore, but my God, that trick was so good. If you don't know it, I did a Hidden Gems on it. The whole idea is that you show a coin in a purse, and it's a Houdini commemorative coin. On one side, it's got a picture of Houdini. On the other side, it's got some handcuffs. You put it back inside the purse. They hold that onto that in their hand. You then make the little head of Houdini come out. And when they look in the purse, now the head's vanished off the coin and the handcuffs are just wrapped around. Really, really good. I remember Paul Daniels doing that on Secrets, his TV show that he did after the Paul Daniels show. And he combined it with There and Back Again by David Regal. And I fell in love with the routine right there. So I'd say number 1, it's Houdini's Escape from El Duco. In number 2, I'm going to go for Gypsy's Curse by Peter Kane. This is something that I'm planning on doing a Hidden Gems on at some point in the future. If you don't know what Gypsy Curse is, it's something that I've been doing for a very, very long time. It's a wild card style routine, but it uses old-fashioned tarot cards, and it's a really interesting presentation about an old gambler that cheats a gypsy and gets cursed, and and it's a wild card style routine based around that. But there's a few things to really like about it. The cards are really well made. The handling was very different to a normal wild card and allowed you to do things that you couldn't normally do with a normal wild card. There's some really great stuff there. So that's the second thing and you can't get it anymore. It's been discontinued. So that's the second thing that I would say. Okay, so let's go back to the third one in a minute. Three tricks that are available, super commercial. I'm guessing we're doing close up here, right? I'm guessing we're doing close up. Okay, if we're doing close up and not stage, I'm going to throw in top three that are still available. Number one is going to be Fiber Optics by Richard Sanders. I love fiber optics. I really do. I think it's the quintessential rope routine. I think you can probably do fiber optics and nothing else. And, I've performed that routine on stage. I've performed it in comedy clubs. I've performed it at places like Smoke and Mirrors. I've also performed it in kid shows. I've performed it close up. I've performed it walk around. I've performed it on big tables. It is such a versatile trick. And it plays massive and packs very, very small. It's just 3 ropes. I think it's great, and then if you get Fiber Optics Extreme and you look at his hyper ring routine, which is his version of the Williamson ring and rope routine, well then you're an entirely different level again. And I know people, Nemeth Phoenix is a perfect example. Nemeth hated rope magic, hated rope magic, and now he does Fiber Optics all of the time, and it's the one rope routine he does, and he does it, and that tells you Nemeth hated rope magic, so that tells you an awful lot about the actual trick. Number 2, I know this feels like a Richard Sanders love fest, but it's not. Number 2, I would say Extreme Burn, or any variation of the Patrick Page easy money style routine. That whole idea of having 5 pieces of paper turn into 5 £20 notes or $100 bills or whatever. I think it makes such a great opener. I think you can take that moment and put it into so many other routines. But I think as an opener, it ticks all the boxes. It's such a, people, if you could really do magic, you'd turn paper into money, right? If you could really do magic, you would take pieces of paper and turn them into money. And it's also so visual and so many different ways you can do it. You can do it down here, you can do it up here, and so many magicians use it. And it's a great EDC. You should just take it and you put it in your wallet and you're good to go anytime, anywhere. And in third place, and it's not even out yet, I would say Vanish by Justin Miller. So I've been a big fan of the Paul Harrison Vanishing deck for a very, very, very long time. And I've performed it for many, many years. This is the best Vanishing deck on the market. There's so many different things that you can do with this. It is absolutely incredible. And I've been lucky enough to have one for the last 3 or 4 months. And the second that you guys see yours, it's going to blow your mind. So if you haven't seen Vanish, I put a video up with Justin Miller on Tuesday, and Justin talks all about it and actually demonstrates some of the routines of Vanish. But I've been using that for a very long time now, and it's been sitting there in my pocket and it's good to go. It's just great. It's really good. So those are the 3. In terms of the discontinued one, I had El Duco's, I had Gypsy's Curse. I can't think of a third. There's going to be a third. There's so many routines that have come out over the course of the years. Is Stranger's Gallery discontinued? I don't think Stranger's Gallery is around anymore. If Stranger's Gallery is not around anymore, I'm going to go with Stranger's Gallery. If you don't know what Stranger's Gallery is, it's a... no, you know what I'll do? Actually, no, I'm not going to go with Stranger's Gallery. I'm going to go for The Light by Chris Congreve. That was brought out by Full 52, and it was an incredible card to impossible location, folded card to impossible location. Just a really great routine. I think it's the best thing that Chris has ever come up with. And that says something, because he's come up with so much really wonderful material. And it's been discontinued for a while now. But The Light by Chris Congreve and Full 52, so good. If you can find one somewhere, then do so, because it's the best impossible location for close-up that you've ever seen. It's basically built into a Zippo lighter. So you put this Zippo lighter down, you're doing whatever routine you want to do, and at the end, it's inside the Zippo lighter. Killer. Absolutely killer. So there you go. Probably if I thought about it, they might change a little bit, but on the surface, that's what I'm going for. Okay, we got another question from Agent Suter. Hi, Craig. Another great Q&A. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for answering your question. You're more than welcome. Here's another one on performance style. I think that the guy who is interested in all sorts of strange rituals would be an interesting performance character, particularly in mentalism. A weird ritual could be a great hook line. It would solve the why write it down problem, because writing it down is part of the ritual. Are you aware of any performers with such a performance style? No, I'm not. And yes, I agree. That would be a really interesting thing. Just having like this performer that's aware of all different, all different strange rituals. I think that's a really good thing. You could even build various, it would almost come across as a lecture, but as a magic show. It feels very Tom Crosby in that he's built this whole show around him being a geek and his abilities that he has developed through repetition and so on and so forth, like the ability to memorize the deck and solve a cube and all this stuff. Being a nerd, it doesn't feel like Tom is doing a magic show. He's doing magic tricks for sure. He's doing magic tricks, but it doesn't feel like he's doing magic tricks. It feels like he's displaying and giving us a peek at the skill that he's developed over years. And I think having somebody who is aware of all these strange rituals, it'd be the same thing. It'd be like a little bit darker than Tom, well, a lot darker than Tom, but it would be the same sort of thing. Well, I'm an expert in strange rituals, and let me talk to you about the XYZ ritual and what this allows us to do and stuff. I think that's a really great idea. Never seen anything like it before, but you should take it and run with it, man, because that's great. Okay, so the next question is from Hyperpencil, and Hyperpencil says, "Hi Craig, I have a question for you. I'm starting an Instagram account and I really don't know if you're allowed to perform marketed effects on social media. I want to know the rules and reactions so I don't do anything wrong." Yeah, man, go for your life. Some tricks have TV rights reserved, but they don't have social media rights reserved. Perfect example of that is Henry Harris's stuff. Cube and Bottle, for example, he's got no problem with you doing it on social media, but you need to reach out to him if you're going to do it on TV. And I know that from when Ryland went on BGT with Cube and Bottle. But 99% of tricks that come out, there's no restrictions at all. I mean, you've bought the trick, you can do whatever you want with it. In fact, and if you haven't already, and this isn't a plug for Ryland's Instagram channel, he doesn't need it. He's on like 13,000 followers and he adds an extra 100 a day. So he doesn't need my help promoting his Instagram channel. But if you haven't already gone and followed Ryland, please do so, because Ryland posts a video every single day. He only set his channel up in November last year, so it's less than a year old. He's on 13,000 followers. And he posts a video every single day, and I think he has for 6 months. And one thing that he does that makes the world of difference is he posts a video, but what he actually does is he actually tags the creator in the post. So when he's posted the video, so last night he posted a video by Michael Chatelain, he actually tags that person in on the video. So he'll actually say, "Hey, this is blah, blah, blah by Michael Chatelain. It's a really cool trick." And, it's something he does every single day. And what will happen is the creator will share that either onto their story or they'll share it somewhere, and then that'll get more views and more people interested. So not only should you use marketed material on Instagram, but be proud of it and actually tag the creator in and let them know that you're performing their trick. And as a creator, I get a kick anytime I see somebody performing my material and I get tagged in. I love it. I love people performing my tricks. It's why I created it in the first place, so that other people can perform it, and I didn't want to just be the only person doing it. So yeah, nobody can stop you, man. Go for it. Take your marketed tricks and perform them on Instagram. I'd love to see them. Okay, so the next question is from Philip Austin, and Philip says, "Craig, something's been niggling me. Reference your video on six dice miracle recently. Matt chose 5 dice, adding up to 2, 3, 5. Not 3, 2, 3, 6. That's your prediction. How did you get the 2, 3, 6 prediction? I didn't know I did that. I obviously screwed up. I don't know. Never screwed up that trick before, but if that's the case, I screwed it up. I'm very sorry. Everybody makes mistakes," said the Dalek climbing off the dustbin. I'm obviously just made a mistake. Sorry about that. So I'm filming this morning before school, and you've come down to tell me that school is ready, right?
Yeah.
Are you in PE? You got PE today?
Yeah.
Yeah, PE. Oh, right, okay. So I've got to go and take you to school.
Okay.
So he's come to do the outro for me again. This is becoming a weekly thing, you jumping on the Q&A and doing an outro. Thanks very much for all of the questions. Don't forget, if you want to ask more questions, please do so. I answer these questions every Sunday. And also, I was just talking about your Instagram channel.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you post videos every day. You always tag the creator in, don't you?
Yeah.
Somebody said, am I allowed to do marketed material on Instagram?
What?
Exactly. What? If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've got another review show coming up on Wednesday, haven't we? As we do every Wednesday. You can go follow him on Instagram and YouTube. He is Rylan the Kid Magician. I'm Craig from Magic TV. Also, don't forget to join the Netrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can tell them.
www.thenetrix.com.
www.thenetrix.com.
Not Smelly Craig Petty.
Not Smelly Craig Petty. That's definitely not what we want to go for. I'll be back. I was telling them that you're practicing Extreme Hanky right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a really great script. It's all about ghosts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very cool. If you want to see a live performance video, ghosts. What's that line that you use at the beginning about ghosts? After you get the card picked?
Does anyone here believe in ghosts?
Does anyone here believe in ghosts? I do. Yeah, really cool.
When I became a magician, I realised that ghosts are real and most are friendly.
Yeah, there you go. He's got it. We'll be back again very, very soon. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryan.
We'll see you again. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.